Hello guys and welcome back to the Rovers Report, where in today's video I'm just going to do a short preview of Rovers game against Ipswich Town tomorrow evening. Obviously, following this weekend's postponement of games due to the Queen's death, football is now back and I for one am delighted. I made my views clear on it. I actually probably would go back on it and say this weekend's game shouldn't have been cancelled, but it is what it is and we have to move on now. If you want to look at it in a positive spin, it means Rovers have had a couple extra days rest and they should be fresh for tomorrow's game at Portman Road. Now Rovers go into this in quite poor form, to be honest, and if you compare that to Ipswich, they're coming in absolutely flying. They sit top of the table. I think they've won their last 5 out of 5. It's a very tough game for Rovers to go into, and having already played Barnsley and Portsmouth, sort of high flyers of this division already, I think it could be another one of those games. What I'm going to say now is my team, and this is hopefully how, if I was Joe Barton, I would try to combat the dominant sort of attacking team that Ipswich are, possession-based team, and also having that big crowd behind them, which at all levels, but especially this level, it can count for an extra sort of 20% in the team. So for me, I think you're going to have to look to sort of go 3 or 5 at the back. I know that's not necessarily the most progressive style of football, but if you choose the right players and you play the right style, it can be. And in the formation I'll play, I'm going to have 2 attacking wing backs, which means that arguably 3 at the back is more attacking than 4 at the back. Depends how you play it. In this, I'd go for Belshaw in goal. I think I'd have Harry Anderson at right back. Left wing back for me, I'd probably go with Trevor Clark. Just pipping Josh Gordon. Obviously Trevor Clark's had that falling out with Barton, but he seems to be back in the mix now. And I for one was fairly impressed with him. He's got that aggression. He's quick, and I think he probably offers a bit more defensively than Josh Gordon. So he would go into my team. When it comes to our centre backs, we don't particularly have much options there. I'd be going with Bobby Thomas, Luca Hall, and Alfie Kilgore. As I said, that's really the only options we have. You could possibly think about dropping Coetzee or Whelan back there, but in a game of this magnitude, I wouldn't be risking things like that. I'd be playing players where they're used to playing, and Luca Hall's been fairly decent this season. Alfie Kilgore, a bit off the pace, but he can do a job there. And Bobby Thomas had a good debut, obviously got that goal, so he'd be in the team for me. Sitting in front of those, I'd have the sort of double screen of Sam Finley and Paul Coots, tried and tested. If they're playing well, it tends to follow that Rovers perform well also. Neither of them have really lit the world alight this season, but they're probably 2 of our most dependable players, and they've got credit in the bank, and they're exactly the sort of players you want in these sort of big fixtures where, there's the possibility you could get fazed by the crowds, as we saw at Barnsley, and those for me would be the ones sitting in front. Now, the cam spot for me is going to be probably the most controversial, and I'd actually drop out Anthony Evans. I'm not saying that he's not a quality player. We all saw that last season, how important he is to us. But there's no denying this season he has been off the pace. And sometimes it can do a player good just to have that sort of, a bit of a shock, a rocket up the arse to say, look, you're not indispensable. And you pair that alongside the fact that, McCormick is a fantastic player. And again, for this sort of game where we're probably not going to have much of the ball, his energy is probably a bit better than Anthony Evans, and he also offers an attacking thrust going forwards. So yeah, he'd be starting for me. I'm not sure whether Barton will do it due to a lack of match fitness, but for me, when you look at the factors, Evans hasn't been playing too well, and Mac is going to be chomping at the bit to play. I would chuck him in there. Let me know what you guys think, because that's probably the most debatable position swap that will happen in the Rovers team. The other one potentially would be up front. Aaron Collins starts 100%. The man in form. He's been nominated for League One Player of the Month, and there's no way he's getting dropped in this game. And actually, alongside him, I'd probably go for Lofty, to be honest. I haven't been too impressed with John Marquis this season. It's not to say that he's not going to come good. We've seen it with Rovers strikers before. You have to give him a bit of time. But for me, Lofty, he's a bit more of a physical presence. They probably offer similar in terms of the press. And you could argue potentially that, Lofty off the bench might be a bit more impactful than the slightly slower Marquis. But yeah, I think Lofty's in a good vein of form, and I think him and Collins up front would be a nice combination. I think they'd complement each other. So that's my team. Let me know what you guys would pick. I'm sure some of you will go 4 at the back. I'm sure some of you will agree with my opinion on that. But yeah, that's my team, and that's how I'd set up. Just to round it off, what predictions, how I think this game will go. I think if we can frustrate them early doors and sort of, prevent them scoring that early goal, as the game continues, I think it will play into our favour. So my heart says we can nick a draw or even a win, but my head, to be honest, says, it's probably one game too soon for us. We're still gelling as a squad, and I could see it being quite a heavy beating. Ipswich are probably up there in the top 3 form teams in the whole of the country. So it's a big ask for Rovers to go to Portman Road and get anything. But, you're always hopeful in these games. And I said it on my previous video, this sort of result, if we do go there and get something, can really kickstart a season. So, I think a couple of 100 gas heads will be going up there. Credit to each and every one of them. It's not easy. But I know it's only been a weekend, but it's good to have football back. And fingers crossed Rovers can get the win. If you've enjoyed this, please give it a like and make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys later.